Welcome to the Scale with Pros podcast with your host, myself, Cody Barton, the number one place to be if you want to build a business beyond yourself. And for all the resources we talk about in the show, make sure to head over to scalewithpros.com. When thinking about, implementing core values, just want to share mine. So maybe if you don't have them established in your company, you can get them established. But my company's core values are we think, we, not me, which means, as a whole, no one's role is more important than any other person's in our company. Everyone's role matters because if we don't have sales, then we don't have any money for the company. If we don't have marketing, we don't have leads for people to sell. If we don't have, operations, then we can't do a good job for the people we marketed to and then sold the thing that we promised. If we don't have finance, then the company falls apart because we're not managing the money well or investing it well. If we don't have HR, then we don't have, good talent coming into the company. We don't have, policies that keep us compliant so we don't get in trouble. It's like all of those things. So it's like all of the roles matter. And so, we think, we, not me means that. Our other core value is we bring solutions before problems. The reason we have this as a value is, we want to encourage people to be free thinkers and to be critical thinkers. And so, part of, my mission around all the companies I build are building high profit, self-managing companies through building great teams. People bringing solutions before problems, we're empowering and we're holding people accountable to come up with potential solutions to problems instead of just bringing a problem to a leader and putting it on their back, putting that monkey on their back. So that's, we bring solutions before problems. Next one is, we are results oriented. This value used to be, we do the best we can. And so I actually had changed that value a couple of years ago, after having to let go of a team member. And he threw the value back at me when I was having to have this conversation. He said, Cody, I'm following the core value of the company and doing the best I can. And so I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. He is doing the best he can, but when the best you can isn't enough, what do we do? And so it made me think about it, and that's where I changed it to we are results oriented, because the thing is, the best we can isn't enough, then we can't be successful. We just need to be able to get the results done. And so we changed it to we are results oriented so that people understand, their role is required to produce results. We work over here. We're not a company that has low expectations. We have high expectations of people to perform and to get results. And then, our final value is we do the right thing. And so how does that show up in the workplace? Well, for us, we do the right thing is really the golden rule, treating others how you want to be treated. And it helps us filter decision making. So say, for example, this is something that was a, real thing that happened. We had a customer that, bought a product of ours, and we have a refund policy, no questions asked, first 3 days on this particular product, 30-day money back on this product as well. Essentially, a month and a half goes by, customer reaches out, they explain, in detail that they just had, their husband gets in a, tragic car accident. Now, is really struggling in a bad financial bind, can't even use our product to its ability because they don't have the ability to do it at that time because of this family traumatic event that they're going through. And so going through that experience, our policy says we don't refund the customer. Our process is we don't refund the customer. They're past the window. But what does it say about us by not refunding the customer when it's the right circumstance? If someone's just like, I just want my money back because I just changed my mind about, the product after the refund policy is over, yeah, not happening. But in these circumstances, it's like, if that was my grandmother, what would I want? How would I want someone else to treat my grandmother in a transaction like that? So it's like we do the right thing is trying to filter through this golden rule of, how we actually treat people in our organization and how we do business. And so, those are our pillars that we stand on within the companies that I own so that we can, behave the way that I want our team to behave, myself included. I'm not exempt from those values. I have to, if anything, exemplify those values the most. And so when it comes to an overall organization and you're growing your business to about $1 million a year plus, it really becomes important to start installing values into your company because your team starts getting bigger. You don't have as much one-on-one time with every team member to indoctrinate your team into the value system that you have, right? So you have to put these in place. So, when we're thinking of a company overall and like how all of my companies operate is essentially we do this. We have our vision, which is like our never ending thing that we're chasing of like, this is what we're going after as a company. This is what we want to be like as a company. And this is our overall vision. Then we have our mission, which is our, where we actually plant a flag in the ground of, okay, our mission is to, within this amount of years, to achieve, X, Y, Z goal. And that's how we'll measure it, is by this certain time frame, we're going to have X amount of customers, or we're going to serve this many, companies or whatever, right? So we have our vision that gives our North Star of like, this is how we are, going after, our vision as a company. Our mission is, this is our actual goal that we're going after that we can actually measure the progress against. And then our core values are essentially, how do we behave on the way there? You think about core values as, like, imagine like you've never played a soccer game before. You have, a bunch of people out in the field that have never played a soccer game. There's no rules. You don't know if it's like appropriate to run out on the field and like pick up the ball with your hands and like go throw it in the goal. It's like, is that part of the rules? It's like, we don't know. So it's like, if you look at that for like a sports team, like the vision may be, be the world's premier best soccer team that, people look up to and that we inspire, thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people. Maybe the vision of a soccer team, right? And, the mission is like, we're going to, win the World Cup or whatever. And then, the values, kind of how this can kind of compare to something like that is like, the values are like, how do we behave on the way there? Like a soccer game has rules of like, you can't pick up the ball and like run with it. You can't punch someone in the face, because they stole the ball from you. So when we look at values and on the company side, it's how do we want our people to behave on the way working towards our mission and our vision overall as a company. And that's why we have those. And when we're thinking about, where does this show up in the workplace? Here's a conversation that I was coaching again from at the beginning of the episode. I was coaching one of my partners actually yesterday, which inspired this recording today. He was, he has a sales team, and he was having issues with one of the team members. And, he was asking me, he's like, I don't know how to handle this. I'm like, what do I do? And so in this company, we've rolled out the core values. And so I asked him these questions. I said, hey, let me ask you a few questions. And this is something that you could use as a filtering system for your team as well. The better quality questions we ask, the better quality answers that we get. And so I asked him this. I said, do me a favor and get out a piece of paper or, pull out your phone notepad and put these notes in your phone. This person that you're having these issues with, I want you to list your company, the company's core values, and I want you to rate this person on a scale of 1 to 10 of how well they live each of the core values of this company. 1 is they don't live it at all. They don't even care about it. 2, 10, they are like the poster child for that core value. And I said, list out your core values, rate them. Ask yourself, the next question is, if you had the chance, again, to hire this person and they weren't working at the company, knowing what you know now about their core value alignment, how enthusiastically would you be wanting to hire them? Would you hire them immediately, say absolutely, and hire them, immediately back on the spot? And that gives you the answer of what needs to happen next with this individual. And not to say, hey, you just need to go fire this person. It's more of this person needs to be coached up to our core values, or they're going to be coached out based off of the lack of following our core values. And so that is a good exercise that you can do and help you think logically through this thought process of how you're getting your team to behave on the same page. And I know it sounds weird to say like how you get them to behave, but when you think about it, like in any business, there's lots of people with lots of different opinions about things and lots of different belief systems. And so when you're building a company, you need to install, the thought processes and the philosophies that you want to be followed. If they want to behave in a different way, they can go do that at another company. That's not how we do things here. The way we do things at Scale with Pros is XYZ. This is how we behave here, and this is how you will behave if you want to continue working here, right? Like that's the thought process. And so that was an exercise that I was taking him through. But, for those of you that have a team, if you look at what your values are as a company, you could do this as an exercise today. And it takes just a couple minutes. Just think, write out the name of each person that works for your company. And then list out, if you have core values, list your core values and then rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. How well do they live these specific values? And if they're not living the values out and you wouldn't enthusiastically hire them again if you knew what you knew now, that is going to bring up the question of, well, what would have to be true for me to be excited about rehiring them if that was the opportunity? Well, they would need to live these core values differently. Well, that's the coaching you need to do. Those are the hard conversations you need to have. And those are the things that you coach that team member up on, or they get coached out on. That's real world scenario of how you roll your core values into your daily, weekly, monthly conversations. When I'm having my one-on-ones with my direct reports, if there's an area where they're not hitting the mark, or maybe they were a little bit off on one of the values, I'm going to bring that up and hey, when we're going through XYZ, that we're really not hitting the value of, we think we, not me, when you're doing that and addressing it in those conversations and having the hard conversation. Because this is something that if you don't do it, no one will do it. And people don't care in your organization what you say. They see what you tolerate and the behaviors you tolerate, the poor behaviors, the non-following of values that you say are important to your organization, but then you don't do anything about. You just become like every other company when you do not manage to these things. And I have tons of training and, I have resources on scalewithpros.com/resources where you can get, our job description templates and our interview templates and how we weave some of these questions into our interview process. But these are the things that cause companies to get stagnant, because you can grow a company to $1 million or a few $1 million a year by brute force. But, when you don't have that strategic alignment of that vision, mission, and values within everyone in your company, people are rowing in different directions. And, you think of like a world championship rowing team, they're rowing in unison. They're all going in the same direction and moving at the same pace. And so that's what we're trying to create, within the companies that we build, is teams that are, looking at that same vision. They're on the same mission together as a company, and they're behaving in the way that is going to help everyone be successful. And so that was really what I wanted to share today. And if you're getting value and you enjoy these shorter, just little snippet lessons on the podcast, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Let me know. Be like, hey, Cody, I want more of this. I want to mix up some of the content with just some of these mini lessons that, I'm taking from just day to day doing the thing, really, building real companies and building real teams and solving real problems. So if you like this type of style, please, share the feedback, leave a review on here. It helps me reach more viewers. That's our entire, marketing strategy, is you sharing this with your friends and the value you get and the value your friends and other business associates get out of this. So if you like this style, feel free to leave a review, let me know, or DM me on Instagram, Cody Barton Official, and share the feedback there. But I do plan to continue mixing up the Scale with Pros podcast to have some of these mini segments like this, where it's, actionable, tactical things that I'm currently dealing with in our companies, to share those lessons with you, as well as bringing on guests that have, built a business that's beyond themselves and that they've built teams and, typically grown past at least $1 million a year or more in revenue. So with all of that being said, hope you have an amazing rest of your day. If you haven't already, make sure to, again, leave a review, rate it 5 stars, because if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all, and you don't have to listen to the podcast if you don't like it. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.